You know the feeling, right? Every single week, I fire up a brand new AI session, and literally within the first minute, I'm already explaining myself all over again. It's what I call the daily prompting trap. I find myself typing things like, hey, my audience is international professionals. Please no EM dashes. Keep the sentences short. Or my personal favorite, absolutely under no circumstances use the phrase game changer. Does that sound familiar? Look, we've all been there. You end up fixing the exact same bad habits. You're re-explaining the same stylistic preferences and correcting the same 3 annoying mistakes. And then the session ends. And tomorrow you're starting from zero all over again. But there's a way out of this loop. Enter the single voice file. Now the obvious fix, right, is just to copy and paste your instructions at the top of every single chat. But let's be real, there's a massive catch. That only works for one session. It completely falls apart if you switch tools or if you try to hand off a task to a teammate. Plus, honestly, you're going to forget to paste it half the time anyway. So what you actually need is just one single file, really tight small markdown file that perfectly captures how you write, the words you absolutely refuse to say, and what your actual taste is. You drop this file into Cowork exactly once. That's it. Every single session reads it automatically. You finally stop explaining and you actually start working. So how do we make this file? We're going to use the 100 question interview method. This brilliant approach comes from Ruben Hassett, and it relies on just 2 prompts. The first prompt kicks off a massive 100 question interview. And guys, I mean a real interview. Claude essentially plays the role of this relentless interrogator. It absolutely will not accept vague answers from you. For example, if you just casually say, oh, I like my writing to be clean, it pushes right back. It'll say, clean how? Show me clean done right and show me clean done lazy. It forces you to get incredibly specific. I actually sat down and did this myself. It took me about 90 minutes total, mostly because I sped it up by dictating my answers using Whisperflow instead of typing everything out. And at the end of that hour and a half, I had 20,000 words. I mean, think about that. It was a massive full archive of exactly how I think, what I hate reading, how I open my pieces, what makes me cringe, and really the core of why I write the way I do. But there's a catch here too. 20,000 words is pretty much useless as standing context. If you try to use that, Cowork would have to reread the entire thing on every single message. That bounce through tokens like crazy. And here's the thing, when you burn too many tokens on background files, Claude actually gets super sloppy on the actual task you wanted to do. Which brings us to the next crucial step, compression and testing. This is where the second prompt comes in to compress that massive archive down into something usable. Our exact target here is between 2,000 to 5,000 tokens. That is the sweet spot. It's small enough that the AI can read it very carefully on every single turn without losing its mind. Now, this compression prompt is incredibly strict. Every single line has to pass 2 totally non-negotiable tests. First test, if this line just disappeared, would the AI behave any differently? If the answer is no, you cut it. Second test, could this line appear in literally anyone else's voice file? If yes, you either cut it or you make it way sharper. What you end up with is a file that actually sounds like you, rather than just a generic description of you. Okay? So once you have this compressed draft, don't wire it into your system just yet. You have to test it first. Here's how. Just open up a totally blank chat. No Cowork folder attached. Just paste the contents of your new file right at the top and ask Claude to write something you've written a million times before, like a standard LinkedIn post or maybe a short email. Then read the output and ask yourself the only question that actually matters. Would I actually say this? If the answer is yes, like 90% of the time, boom, you're done. But if it sounds like some smooth corporate stranger wrote it, you need to go back and tighten up your examples. Remember, The initial compression is just a draft. It's not the finish line. Once it's finally dialed in, you just drop that file right into your Cowork About Me folder. And that's the magic moment. From that point on, every single session automatically reads your voice file before it even thinks about answering you. Boom. No more explaining needed. All right, one last thing, maintaining your voice. Because yes, this file is going to need a little bit of maintenance over time. It's not a lot of work, but you should definitely add a new rule the day you catch yourself correcting the same AI mistake twice. Or, add a new example the day you finally stumble on a phrase that perfectly captures your style. And here is a massive pro tip. Edit this file in Obsidian, not just a basic plain text editor. Raw Markdown looks super ugly in Notepad. And let's be honest, you're not going to edit ugly files, which means they'll just go stale. Obsidian actually makes the Markdown readable and pleasant to look at. Literally, that is the only reason we're specifically calling it out for this explainer. So I'll leave you with this. What would your voice file actually say? Not just some boring list of preferences, not a corporate brand deck. What are the hyper-specific things that make your writing uniquely yours and nobody else's? Take the 2 hours to find out. I promise you, it'll completely change how you work.